Welcome to CBJ in 30, presented by Pedialyte. I'm Bob McElligott, and today we're going to talk Stadium Series. The Blue Jackets and the Detroit Red Wings are going to be going outside. Ted Carter, who is the president of The Ohio State University, will join me in just a bit, but coming up next, I'm going to talk with Zach Werenski. Zach Werenski is not only a star for the Columbus Blue Jackets, but over the last couple of weeks, as the NHL took a break for the Four Nations face-off, Zach represented the Blue Jackets on Team USA, and boy, what a job he did. He was the leading point getter in the entire tournament. He had 6 points throughout the 4 games that he played, more than Sidney Crosby, more than Connor McDavid, and yes, the United States did fall to Canada in the championship game, and that was disappointing. But for Zach Werenski, it really felt like he took another step in his NHL career. And I'll tell you this, for everything that we know as Blue Jackets fans and watching Zach play day in and day out that the rest of the hockey world might not have known, they all know it now. So coming up next, I will sit down with Zach and talk about not only that tournament, but about the Blue Jackets playoff run as CBJ in 30, presented by Pedialyte, continues.
Here's 5 reasons to place your deposit on Blue Jackets ticket plans for the 25-26 season. 1. Choose the games you just gotta see. 2. Plans start at just 11 games. 3. Flexible payment plans. 4. Bonus tickets for friends and family. And 5. A ticket trade program for games you can't make. The time to act is now. Visit BlueJackets.com/tickets.
Welcome back to CBJ in 30, presented by Pedialyte. I'm Bob McElligott, joined right now by Blue Jackets defenseman Zach Werenski, Team USA defenseman Zach Werenski. That's what he has been for the last couple of weeks, playing in the NHL's Four Nations tournament. And Zach, what a tournament. And I feel that I speak for every Blue Jackets fan when I tell you how fun it was to watch you play and excel at that level, best on best hockey. How much fun was it for you to be a part of that?
Yeah, it was incredible. I had high expectations going into it, but it definitely exceeded those expectations. I think probably exceeded everyone's expectations for what they had for that tournament, and just super grateful for the opportunity. I haven't played best on best ever before, and whenever you put that USA jersey on, it's definitely special, but I feel like even in that tournament, even more so, just because it's been so long since guys have had best on best. It's the first time for a lot of guys, so guys are really jacked up for it, and I think just all in all, it was a great 2 weeks for hockey, for myself, for Team USA, for everyone involved.
I couldn't help but think when I was watching you play, I remember back early in the year, and you and I talked before you knew that you were actually going to be on the team, before you had been selected to be on the team, and there was concern, and you were anxious about it because you really wanted to be a part of that group. And I saw you play, and I thought, how could this have even been a question? I mean, there's no doubt you were going to be a part of that group. Just you looked comfortable. How comfortable did you feel?
Yeah, I felt really comfortable. I think, before the tournament started, I wasn't sure how I'd feel, just because I haven't played a playoff series in a while and playoff games, and I feel like it felt like playoffs, and going into it, I wasn't really sure the speed, the physicality, how I was going to fit in, but I just told myself before the tournament started, just do what I do and play the way I play and not try and change anything. And I was very calm. I didn't really have nerves. I was in a good headspace, and I just tried to go out there and do what I do. And, I felt good out there. Obviously, it's easy when you're playing with guys of that caliber, right? They're always in the right spots. They're always making plays. So that makes it easier for sure. But just mentally, I was in a good place and just tried to play my game and do what I do. And, happy it worked out for me.
You played in a tournament with the likes of Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, and yet when it was all said and done, you had more points than anybody else in the tournament. I don't know if that means much to you, but, I mean, look, that's pretty doggone impressive when you look at the list of guys that were playing.
I'll take it. I mean, obviously I would trade those for the win.
Yeah.
I think it would have been more special if Team USA got the win and we were celebrating after the game, but I feel like for me, that's kind of what I bring to the game is, offense. I've definitely rounded out my two-way game as years have gone on, but that's, what I was supposed to bring to Team USA, and I feel like I did that. And, it's cool. One of my favorite pictures from the tournament, it's unfortunate, but it's the handshake line after the game, and it's me and Crosby at the front. And, that's kind of a pinch me moment, I grew up watching him and his big goals for Team Canada, unfortunately, but To be standing at the handshake line with him there is, it's a crazy moment for me. So, just a crazy experience, but like I said, super grateful for it.
Well, you mentioned it didn't end the way that you guys wanted it to, but what highs and lows in that tournament? The first game against Canada, winning it in Montreal. Tell me about that one in particular. Just the atmosphere, everything that surrounded the game and the way the game ended in that one.
Yeah, I think the build-up was crazy for that just because it hasn't happened in a while. And then how it starts with the 3 fights in 9 seconds and the big hits, and McDavid scores and Larkin scores a big goal in the second to take the lead, and kind of had a little bit of everything. And we're the bad guys in Montreal against Canada, and then overnight the whole tournament kind of just blew up. It seemed like, right? Like, hockey fans were excited for it, but it seems like it kind of took the whole sports world and world in general by storm. And by the time we got to Boston, we didn't even know what just happened. It was just madness. So definitely a crazy game there in Canada, but the series is 1-1 now. I would have liked to have a third game to see what to settle it for sure, but that's not going to happen. Maybe next year at the Olympics.
Yeah, that championship game, I guess it was only fitting that game winds up going to overtime, the way you two battled each other.
Yeah, I think either team could have won that game. We had a ton of chances in overtime early on. Bennington made some great saves on Matthews a few times, on Brady, and then, one unfortunate error for our team, and McDavid standing in the slot all alone, and he makes a great shot and scores. So it's one of those things where, like you said, it's probably fitting that it went to overtime. I hate the outcome, but it's great for the game of hockey. It's great for our sport. I feel like, the amount of attention it got, the amount of eyeballs that's on hockey right now, and I think it was just a great tournament for a lot of people. So I'm happy to be a part of it. Since
you've been back in Columbus, as you've been out, have a lot of people talked to you about it, whether people you know or anybody stop you on the street and just talk to you about that tournament in particular?
I feel like this is probably the most I've been talked to or stopped on the street since I've been back the last couple of days. Going to lunch, going to dinner, whatever it is, everyone's just talking about the Four Nations and USA. And I guess, like I said, when I went there, I had high expectations, but I didn't really realize how many people it'd reach. And now since I've been back, even in Boston when we were there before the games and at dinners and walking around the city, it was incredible seeing all the support we have for Team USA. And it's definitely been, I don't want to say life-changing because it's not life-changing, but it's definitely been, more eyes on the sport, more eyes on myself, and more people are aware, I guess, of hockey and what it is now. And definitely been a little bit different for sure.
I feel like the best thing that happened for you is we get a chance to see you play like you do every single day. And I'll be honest with you, I've been thinking about this a lot. What a privilege it is to watch you play every day. Like, you kind of, I don't want to say take it for granted, but I guess I do. I just know what you're going to bring day in and day out. But so many people all over the world didn't know that, and they don't get to watch you play every day. And I felt like you got on the big stage and you just showed everybody exactly what you can do. Does that even register in your own mind, or is it just what you've been talking about? You just wanted to play your game and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah. No, well, I appreciate that. That's a very nice compliment from you, so I appreciate that, Bob. I feel like for me going there, it was one of those things where I wanted to win first and foremost, right? I haven't won in a long time. I haven't won anything since the Calder back in 2016 in Cleveland. So that was my first focus, was going there to win something. And then I think second, it was also, we're a smaller market here in Columbus, and I wanted to show people what, guys around the league can do that aren't in big markets. And I felt like I've been having a very strong season this year, and I wanted to continue that at the Four Nations and do that against, the best of the best. And I feel like I did just that. So it had nothing to do with, popularity or anything like that. I could care less about it. But at the same time, I think it's great for hockey when people can understand that there's really good hockey players in smaller markets that don't get talked about enough, that aren't on national TV every weekend. I think that grows the game a lot. So that was definitely, part of my objective there and something I wanted to accomplish. And, I just said it, but I feel like I did just that, which is exciting.
Do you feel that all of the guys that were on that team will now have a bond kind of for all time?
100%. Yeah, it was one of the closer groups I've ever been on, and we're only together for 2 weeks, so I think that says something. A lot of us grew up playing together, World Championships, NTDP, trained together in the summer, so we were all close going into it, but I feel like just the collective buy-in from everyone, whatever their roles were, PK, PP, first line, fourth line, first D pair, third D pair, whatever it was, guys collectively bought in and just wanted to win. And I feel like when you have that, automatically you're a close group. And I haven't had that much fun playing hockey ever. A lot of guys were saying the same thing, and I definitely feel like this is a group you can kind of build with towards the Olympics next year, and hopefully even years after that. So definitely an exciting time for USA Hockey to have a group this close and be this good.
When you're talking about guys embracing their roles, I don't know if anybody did it better than your best friend Dylan Larkin, who was asked to play down in the lineup. I mean, with Detroit, he's a top guy. Wasn't necessarily a top guy on that team, but boy, he came up with some top plays, didn't he?
Yeah, big time. And then by the end of the tournament, in the final game, he's playing first line with Matthews and Brady, I think it was. Hats off to him. He was fourth line right wing. He's a lefty, he's a center, and he's playing fourth line right wing to start the tournament. And 3.5 games later, he's first line center or right wing, whatever he was playing. But that just shows how bad guys wanted to win. No one cared. I think he's third in the league in power play goals, first from the bumper, and he wasn't on either of the units. That just speaks to the skill of USA Hockey, right? How many good players there are, but no one complained. He showed up every day. He was trying to be the best penalty killer, trying to be the best fourth line right wing, and just kept working. Scores a huge goal against Canada to win in Montreal, and just so proud of him. I think just the way he played and handled everything, it was special to see.
I know before you left, I asked you if there were guys that you were looking forward to playing with, and Charlie McAvoy was one of the guys for you. It was really unfortunate he couldn't finish the tournament. Were there any guys that going into it you didn't know exactly how you might feel or how it might work, or am I going to like that guy, or is this guy going to be cool to be around, and you come out of it and you go, oh, absolutely, it was great?
There was no one I was doubting, I guess, right? I was excited to play with everyone.
Maybe somebody you're just more unfamiliar with than now you are.
Yeah, I think for me, the one guy that, and I've said this a few times when people have asked already, is Jake Gensel. He's a guy that's won everywhere he's gone.
Well, you couldn't have liked him because he always, in Pittsburgh, he always scored 1 or 2 goals a game against you guys. Right?
I know. And I guess I never realized how good he was, right? He was playing with Crosby and Malkin, and, you can kind of be like, oh, he's playing with some of the best players in the world. He's good because he plays with them. And I was in Tampa playing with Kucherov and Point. But you see him there, and you have to be one of the best players to play with the best players. And I feel like watching him play and the situations he's in, and he's always making the right decisions. He always has his guy. He's always in the right spot in the D zone. He's doing the right things all over the ice, and he's creating offense all the time and scoring big goals. And I was just so impressed with the way he plays the game. You can tell why he's a winner, and you can tell why he's had so much success. And I actually learned a lot from watching him. Just like I said, doing all the little things. He's not cheating for offense. He's creating the right way and playing the right way. And I feel like for a lot of guys, he was a leader on that group just based on the way he played, and I thought that was impressive.
All right, so the tournament comes to an end, and all of a sudden, within 48 hours, you got to be back on the ice for your team playing in a meaningful game against the Chicago Blackhawks. And I don't know how you did it, but you looked like you didn't miss a beat whatsoever. You had a goal and 2 assists in the game. How important was it for you, not just to rack up points, but to come back and again, have success? That was a huge game for you guys. Those were 2 very, very big points that you needed.
I was excited to come back. It's one of those things where going to the Four Nations, my focus was solely on Columbus and where we're at in the standings. We had a tough loss right before the break, and then coming back here, it's an exciting week for us, right? We have 2 home games, and then we go to Detroit, which is fun for me, being hometown Mobs trip, and then we come back here in the Stadium Series. And although I was looking forward to the Four Nations, I was also looking forward to this week as well. And I think I was a little bit tired, waking up from my nap and whatnot, and I wasn't sure how I was going to feel. But once I got to the rink and saw the lineup and went through the PP meeting and the pre-scout, I forgot about the Four Nations. I was, totally focused here. And like you said, those are 2 huge points for us with where we're at in the standings. This whole week's, playoffs for us, right?
Yep.
Played Detroit twice, and we're battling with them in Ottawa, and Boston's right behind us, and the Rangers, who we play in a week. And I feel like every time we look at the schedule or look ahead, it's just someone we're fighting with for a playoff spot. So it's an exciting time here right now. I feel like it was easy for me to kind of adjust. Definitely a little bit tired, but I've had the last couple of days off, and I'll be ready to go for Tuesday.
I wanted to ask you this question. Was the game against Chicago slower than the games that you played in the Four Nations? Because I'm watching that for a week and a half, and I joked around with people. I said Zach's going to have to slow down when he comes back because it was so quick. What was the pace like?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely sloppier, and I think that was to be expected after having 2 weeks off. But I think the game is so fast at the Four Nations because everyone's just doing the right thing. You know, if that makes sense. Like, you know, on your breakouts, you know, like everyone's going to be in the right spot, so you can play so fast. Not that guys aren't here, but it's definitely a little bit sloppier, if that makes sense. And I feel like, you know, as the year goes on, as the rest of the season goes on, that'll get cleaned up a little bit. Just, you know, coming back from a break, it was to be expected. But the game is so fast there just because everyone's making a play with the puck and everyone's in the right spot. And it almost made it easier in a sense, I felt like, you know. I don't know if that makes sense to a lot of people, but it didn't feel fast for me. It didn't feel fast for some guys, I guess. But I guess coming back, it definitely felt a little bit slower, but not too much. I felt like guys had energy, guys were skating. I just felt like the puck plays weren't as connected as maybe the Four Nations were.
And your breakaway goal against Chicago, there were a couple of things I loved about it. First, I loved that you got the breakaway and you scored the goal. But as you're going down the ice, just before you got to the blue line, you did the little peek over your shoulder to see how much room you had. And it was Seth Jones that was in the rearview mirror. And you guys were partners for a long time here. And I remember when Seth left, I remember talking to you, and you had said basically, you know, I'm ready to be the guy. You know, I love playing with Seth, but it's always Seth and Zach as a pair. I'm ready to be the guy. And on that play, as I watched you going in there and take that peek and then finish it, I felt like you were definitely the guy. So it was just, it was kind of a surreal watching you from up above. What'd you think when you peeked over the shoulder there?
Yeah, when I first got the puck, kind of how the play progressed, I knew there was no D at the blue line. And based on how we played D zone, I was just the high guy at the time. And I was kind of hoping Boone just shoveled it out. And once he did, as I picked it up, I saw Seth was kind of coming from the corner. I know he's a good skater, so I just tried, you know, going as fast as I could for, you know, in a straight line. And when I got to the blue line, I shoulder checked just to see how much time I had. And the move itself, I really wasn't thinking too much on it. I kind of just had an idea that I was going to go to my forehand. But it was funny because after the game, I was debating sending him a screenshot of him behind me just to kind of mess with him. But it was too soon, so I didn't end up doing it. But I talked to him after the game. We were joking about it. But no, I mean, obviously, I love playing with Seth. But at the time, I felt like I was always the 1B or the 2. And I felt like I was at a point in my career where I wanted to show what I could do and be the guy. And it's taken some time, you know, a couple of years to kind of learn it, but I feel like I'm in a good spot now, and I'm happy with how it's gone.
Absolutely. You're in a great spot right now. You mentioned Boone got you that puck on the breakaway. How big is it to have him back in the lineup, especially when I know you guys all felt terrible for him to suffer an injury right at the end of training camp? Have your captain back, have your leader back, and by the way, you've done a great job of filling in that role. I think you've grown a lot in that role as a leader, but to have him back in the room, how big is it?
It's been awesome. I feel like just his excitement, you know, the morning of the game, seeing him at the rink, seeing him getting ready for the game at, you know, 4:30, 5 o'clock. It was like he was playing his first NHL game again, and that's awesome to see, right? I think that gives energy to your group, and he's the guy that drives the bus for us. He's our engine. He's the guy that, you know, guys look up to. He's our voice in our room, and I feel like, you know, I could sit here and talk about it and try and explain it, but unless you're in that room, you really don't understand the impact he has on it. So I thought it was great for our team. I think it's great for him. He's worked his ass off coming back, and couldn't be happier for him to, you know, to be back with us at this time of the year with the Stadium Series and the playoff run. And he's a guy we're going to lean on, and it couldn't happen to a better guy at a better time. So really happy for him.
Stadium Series, you get a chance to go outside and play. For years, you've watched other teams get a chance to go out and play in these kind of games, and you've never had the opportunity to do it here. What's this one going to mean to you?
It's going to be incredible. I think just the atmosphere, the build-up for it. We played Detroit on Thursday. Like I said, these are playoff games versus them, so I think that kind of adds a little bit to it as well. Playing them, you know, in Detroit and then coming back here and playing them again. But I think just all the fans, the venue, the different jerseys, just everything involved in it. I think it's going to be super special. I've watched a lot of outdoor games over the years, and always, you know, hoped we play in one here in Columbus. And the time's finally here, so I'm really excited for it. I'm excited for our fans. I'm excited for everyone that's going to experience it with us, and just excited to see what it's all about on Saturday night. I'm sure it's going to be rocking in there, so it's going to be really cool.
And when the year starts, you have no idea if you're going to be in a playoff race by the time March 1st comes around and this game is played. And yet here you guys are. As you said, it's going to be the second half of a home-and-home with Detroit, and these points are extremely, extremely important. How great is it not just to play outside, but to play in a game that's going to mean something?
Yeah, that was our goal, especially when Boo went down and Goody went down and we started to get some injuries early on in the season. We talked about that, just being in a spot where we can make a run for the playoffs when these guys come back, and that's the Stadium Series game. And, we're right there. We're 1 point out or tied for a playoff spot right now, whatever it is. And, it makes it even better that the team we're going against is in the same spot as us, right? And we're fighting with them, and it's the second half of a back-to-back or a home-and-home. And, I think this is just couldn't, be a better setup for us to go into that game with the playoff mentality and knowing we need to get 2 points. Obviously, we're going to enjoy the crowd and the venue and everything that goes along with it once the puck drops. It's a really important hockey game for us, so I'm excited for that.
Going to have the whole family here for that?
Yeah, I have a lot of people here coming, so almost too many people, to be honest, but it's going to be fun. I'm excited to share that experience with them.
Zach, thank you so much. Again, it was really a pleasure to watch you in that Four Nations tournament. Congratulations on your success there and the success that you've had all season long, and best of luck to you and all the guys in there as you push for the playoffs here.
Yeah, thanks, Bob.
All right, that is Zach Werenski. I'll be back with more of CBJ in 30 presented by Pedialyte right after this.
Ohio Stadium, where the Wolverine and Buckeye States meet to throw fuel on a century-old rivalry. But this time, it's different. This time, the roles of red and blue are reversed. This time, it's hockey at the shoe. The Blue Jackets and Red Wings take it outside with the Navy Federal Credit Union NHL Stadium Series. Buy tickets now.
Welcome back to CBJ in 30, presented by Pedialyte. It was great to talk to Zach Werenski about the Four Nations face-off and about where the Blue Jackets hope to get to before this season is over. Well, they're going to take on the Detroit Red Wings, as you heard Zach say, and one of the two games this week is going to be outside at Ohio Stadium, the Navy Federal Credit Union Stadium Series, Saturday night at 6 o'clock, the Blue Jackets and Red Wings at Ohio Stadium. And earlier in the week, I had a chance to get together with the president of The Ohio State University, Ted Carter, and talk about this experience. Well, President Carter, this outdoor game is just about upon you here at Ohio Stadium. How excited are you and your staff and everybody here at the university about hosting the Blue Jackets and the Red Wings?
Well, what I've learned being here just a little over a year in Columbus, Ohio, is this is a hockey town. I mean, people show up for Blue Jacket games, and for the NHL guys and anybody that's ever played hockey all their life, to play outside like pond hockey, which is a lot of what I grew up with. This is, bringing that spirit and energy of what hockey's all about.
And you are a former hockey player. Actually, you still play. I mean, but you did play. You've played this game a lot in your life. So does that make this event extra special for you?
Very special for me. It is the sport that I still love. I love playing it. I love being a fan for it. I love college hockey. We've got two great college hockey programs here. Both our men and women are nationally ranked. Our women national champions last year. But to bring this for our fans, many of whom maybe never seen an outdoor or any kind of hockey game, will be pretty special.
You have done a lot of things in your life. You've been a Top Gun pilot. You're the president of a university, and you've been at different universities. What part of your life does hockey hold in getting you the experience and the knowledge to hold all these positions you've had?
When I get to give leadership talks, I'll often talk about what the sport of hockey did for me. Playing for something that's bigger than yourself. Understand it's not about whether you score or whether you get the right assist. It's about being part of something that will be towards making a win. And then just what it means to be part of a team. Everything I learned, whether I was flying in combat, leading large complex organizations, even leading The Ohio State University, I learned from the sport of hockey.
Now, this is not going to be your first outdoor game. When you were at the Naval Academy, one was hosted there. What's it like going through it a second time?
It'll be just as fun. I wasn't really sure what to expect when we did it in 2017, and it was glorious. And I know it will be here. We're going to see our branding, down on the field and all around the ice rink. It's going to be really exciting for Buckeye fans.
Now, one thing that's different is this stadium itself, because it is an iconic stadium. How special is it for you to be a part of it in the shoe because of just what the shoe is?
Well, not only, we're a stadium that's over 100 years old. We're going to have over 80,000 fans here. It's going to be an experience for everybody that comes. But then to also host it in the same year that we won a national championship, the first time we ever had a home game in December. So we've got a chance to, kind of winterize the stadium a little bit. And now we're really going to be winterized for an outdoor hockey game.
Now, I'm glad you brought up that national championship in football, because to go back when you were at the Naval Academy, the Washington Capitals played in that game. They then went on to win the Stanley Cup that very same year. Can you bring that luck to the Blue Jackets?
I'd love to be able to say I will. I got to drop the puck with Alex Ovechkin at that game. They go on to win the Stanley Cup. And not only did they do that, they let me have the Stanley Cup for a day. And I took it everywhere around the Naval Academy, to include in front of the entire brigade of midshipmen. And I did hold it over my head. Don't tell anybody.
All right, what does your game day look like personally?
You mean for this game coming up?
This one coming up.
Yeah, I'll be here early, and we'll socialize with a bunch of people. I'll get a chance to say hi to the commissioner of the NHL. Gary Bettman will be here. And then whatever else is out there, I'll probably maybe do a broadcast interview or two. I'll be down on the by the field in the ice arena. We're going to bring the NCAA football championship trophy out with some of the guys. So you're going to have a chance for a couple of fun surprises.
Boy, what a great time for you to show up here at Ohio State, both football and hockey-wise.
Life is pretty good.
Yeah. President Carter, thank you very much. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the experience. I'm sure you will.
I thank you. Thank you.
That is Ted Carter, president of The Ohio State University. Can you believe this is his second outdoor game? And as he said, he had great success last time around when the Washington Capitals played in Annapolis and then went on to win the Stanley Cup. So we'll see if he brings that kind of luck to the Blue Jackets. So 2 games against Detroit. That's what's coming up. The first one is going to be on Thursday. That will be in Detroit. The Blue Jackets going there, and 2 huge points are on the table. Zach mentioned this a little bit ago. It is the Blue Jackets' mom's trip. So if you need a little bit of extra incentive as a player, they're taking their moms on the trip. You always want to impress your mom, so you know that the guys are going to play their best. That game Thursday night at 7 o'clock, and then the culmination of the home and home series on Saturday night at Ohio Stadium, 6 o'clock face-off, and there are plenty of activities that are going on. Just go to BlueJackets.com and look at all of the activities. The free concert with OAR before the game. 21 Pilots is going to play during the first intermission. If you have not gotten tickets to the Stadium Series yet, I don't know what you're waiting for, but it's time for you to get them. Just go to BlueJackets.com, buy your tickets. It's not just going to be a hockey game. It's going to be a life experience. It is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to go to Ohio Stadium and watch the NHL put their best players out on the ice. So we hope that you join us for that. I'd like to thank Ted Carter for talking about the game, and of course, thanks to Zach Werenski for talking to us about the season that he has had, and it is terrific. And hopefully it continues in a big way for him and the Blue Jackets this week as they take on the Red Wings in back-to-back games, one in Detroit and one outside at the Shoe. That's going to do it for CBJ in 30, presented by Pedialyte. I'm Bob McElligott.